Hello, Home Slices. It's Kiara with Home Slice Adulting coming to you with my review for Iyanla Fix My Life, Season 8, Episode 1. I'm entitled Lisa Ray McCoy, Queen of Denial. Thanks so much for clicking on this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And before we get into the meat and potatoes of what happened on this episode of Iyanla Fix My Life, I want to say that I am trying to do better now that I'm about to finish my degree about posting content here. So yeah, recently I started doing a season by season review of Murder, She Wrote. So I've done a review for season 1 and season 2. There are 12 seasons. So kind of like in my spare time when I don't have things to do or when I need a break, I'll watch Murder, She Wrote. The show came out before I was born, so I actually had never seen the episode before I started watching it. So I thought it would be cool to do reviews of like these really old shows that have some type of like I don't want to say historical reference, but shows that were very popular that have influenced television over the years. So if you're interested in that, if you're interested in watching Murder, She Wrote with me, it's on Peacock right now, and my reviews are posted on my channel as well, so check those out. But let's go ahead and get into the reason why you clicked on this video. So this is the kind of like the second half of the final season of Iyanla Fix My Life, even though they have labeled it as season 8, episode 1. I am so saddened by the fact that this will be like one of the last things that we see from Iyanla, because I feel like this makes for great television. It's always entertaining. There's almost always a lesson that I can take away and apply to my own personal life. And I really like Iyanla, and she's been doing this for years, and I've seen a few interviews where she talks about wanting to kind of graduate to a next stage in her career, and to not be stuck in doing this show over and over again. And I'm just really saddened by that. So I'm hoping she does something that is television related so that we can see more of her, because we love Iyanla, right? So we'll see what happens. But anyways, this is the second time that we're here with Lisa Ray, who had a very interesting episode with her mother and daughter in season 7. I did a review on that episode, so I'll put the link in the description box below if you are interested. But this time around, she's here to do her work, and it looks like she is here alone. So Iyanla picks her up. She has this bedazzled jacket that I do not like. I don't like that bedazzled jacket. But she has these really nice glasses on. I did enjoy her glasses. So Iyanla was saying we kind of did this process backwards. And apparently it was Lisa Ray's intention for her to do her work with Kai. And Kai said she ain't coming if she ain't getting paid. Now, last time we checked, Kai didn't really have a job. So if she had a job and couldn't come, that would be one thing, right? But if she's unemployed and didn't want to come because her time is valuable, I mean, it's not, right? Like, if you're not employed, why not go on TV? Why not work things out with your mom? But whatever. Moving on, as far as her mom goes, her mom has been packing ever since they last left Iyanla, but hasn't left Lisa Ray's house yet. So it's empty packing, basically. So we see that once again, Iyanla is using this crown and throne analogy. She also used it with the guy who had all of the daughters, who was fighting his son. I can't remember his name, but this time there are valleys that she has to go through to get to the crown. So there's the valley of love, success, purpose, and intent, OPP, comeuppance, non-resistance, courage, and understanding. So Iyanla's sitting down with Lisa Ray. She says Lisa Ray is a wall, and that she has to think about how she feels instead of just feeling it. And in that moment, it's like, I realized this is why Lisa Ray is such a bad actress. Lisa Ray is not a good actress. I have never heard anybody say that performance from Lisa Ray was outstanding and deserves an Oscar or an Academy Award. You know, Lisa Ray's not a good actress. Yeah, there are moments where I'm like, I don't understand why she has had the acting career she has had. Besides the fact that she's beautiful. And it's like, she's not a good actress. She really is not. But the point is that when you're an actor or an actress, you get into character by understanding the motivations and the emotions of the person that you are portraying. And I think part of the reason Lisa Ray may not be a good actress is because she has that wall up and can't go there emotionally. So if she manages to get through this process in a way that allows her to be more in touch with her emotions, her career could be forever changed. So this is an investment in her entertainment future. Okay, moving on. Lisa Ray is in breakdown with Da Brat. Apparently that was a big story at the time. I heard about it, but I don't care. Lisa Ray and Da Brat are sisters, but I don't know how. Is Da Brat one of her father's illegitimate children? That could be the breakdown right there. Heck, I don't know. I can't remember how they're sisters. That's probably how. But anyways, she's also in breakdown with her mom and her daughter. And Lisa Ray is the common freaking denominator, okay, obviously. So Iyanla believes that Lisa Ray is in breakdown with these women because of the internal battle that she's experiencing with herself. So Iyanla says that you're in breakdown with your sister because, you're in breakdown with your daughter because she is who you were. You're in breakdown with Da Brat because she is who you are. And you're in breakdown with your mother because she is who you are becoming. And that happens a lot of times. Like when we see people exhibiting quality, or when we're in relationship with people, particularly family, or particularly people who we're supposed to be in close relationship with, like parents or siblings or, aunts or uncles, that there's this type of particular disdain or dysfunction that you experience because they remind you of yourself, or they remind you of what you strive or choose not to be. And so that really made sense to me, and I hope it made sense to Lisa Ray as well. So anyways, so Lisa Ray starts rating herself on these different aspects like patience and honesty, and she gives herself 4s across the board. And it's like, girl, why are you here if you're 4s across the board? Iyanla didn't call her out right away. She did it much later and in a much more gentle way than I kind of thought she would. But it's like 4 is like at an 80%, right? You're like in the top 20%, you're in the top bracket of people who have this quality and are doing well. And she gave herself 4s across the board. And it's like, people who are 4s in this area don't need to come on Iyanla Fix My Life. Just in that moment, I was like, this lady is delusional. She's a queen, all right. She's a queen of denial, like they say in the title. So I was like, that's crazy. Like, she absolutely has self-perception issues. I'm like, at one point I was like, does she really have self-perception issues, or is she lying? Like, it was hard to tell. Like, there's no way you're a 4 on all of those things. I know you from TV, and I can tell you're not a 4 on patience. Okay, so moving on. We see that she starts talking about her father. Her father's life is very scandalous. For the first time that I remember, we hear that her father was in a wheelchair. He was wheelchair bound from the time that she was 8 months old because he was involved in a robbery. And my first thought was, and of course, this is Lisa Ray, who Lisa Ray says is her first love is her father, which, makes sense. And Lisa Ray says that he's in a wheelchair. And I'm like, he was out here in a wheelchair cheating? I don't understand. I'm not saying anything bad. I am not ableist. I feel like people who are wheelchair users, people who are otherwise would be classified as disabled, are as worthy of love as people with differing ability types. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is he rolled himself over to a mistress. I'm really trying to figure out what it was about this man that these women were so attracted to, that he basically kind of had like a second family. That, I don't know why that tidbit of information just kind of changed my perspective on what was going on with her. That was very weird. That was a bit of information that I was like, are you kidding me? I don't know. It felt weird. Am I the only one who thinks it feels weird? It feels weird. Anyways. So Lisa Ray brings up the fact that her daddy was paying for his mistress's daughter to go to the same school as Lisa Ray. That was the gist of what I gathered, right? So I'm getting mad just thinking about it. Thinking about Lisa Ray's mother and how off-putting and angry she was the last time that we saw her on the Iyanla Fix My Life, and then seeing that her husband, who is in a wheelchair, is supporting another family. Like, I would be mad, and that would mess me up too. So anyways, but Iyanla does say that Lisa Ray is mad at the wrong thing, and that your father's out here rolling around, dishonoring your mom, dishonoring their marriage, dishonoring your family structure, but you're mad about the mistress's daughter. And so she brings up like forgetful Kai. I don't know where that piece of information came from. Iyanla rolled with it and made it make sense. But Lisa Ray just brought it up out of nowhere about how her daughter is forgetful. And her daughter is only forgetful about stuff she doesn't want to do or something along those lines. And I was like, girl, what are you talking about? Okay. But the point that Iyanla works with and gets her to is that this whole situation is about you making excuses for your father and not about being honest about what it means. And Lisa Ray was saying, well, this has been going on since I was a child. Like, my father has been cheating on my mother since I was a child. It felt normal to me. And Iyanla called BS. And I think that that's right. I think that when it comes to the media that we consume, when it comes to the other influences that are in our life outside of our family structure, it is reasonable to assume that in the time Lisa Ray was growing up, that cheating on your spouse was still seen as something bad. And you don't have to go to church or be a Christian to know that. In general, when you make a commitment and you don't honor that commitment, it's a bad thing. So Iyanla, it's like you're just making excuses for your dad because you love him and you don't want to see this bad side of him. So anyways, now Iyanla goes and makes a pallet on the floor for Lisa Ray. Now they're going back to when she was a child and talking about when she was afraid or angry or helpless. And in that moment, she was, on the floor crying. You could see she was really getting in touch with her inner child and with her emotions. And then they talk about her husband, who was very much like her father. She was married to like the prime minister of Turks and Caicos or something like that. Some type of person who had a government position in a Caribbean island. And it is pretty much common knowledge that he was cheating on her and those types of things. So they made the connection between her husband and her father. We hear about her breakdown with Debrat. We find out that they were estranged, but not much more. There wasn't a lot of information there. Basically, Debrat and Lisa Ray hadn't talked in a while. Debrat shows up at a birthday celebration, and Lisa Ray is like, I haven't even talked to you. Why are you here? Instead of viewing it as like Debrat is making an effort to mend fences, right? So, that's what I got from that. But again, it wasn't very much. Iyanla kept trying to go deeper. Like, this is not about what happened at your birthday party. This is not about what was in the headlines. This is about how you feel about Debrat and what she represents in your life, and she represents who you are right now. So Iyanla was saying like everything feels like a betrayal to you, and Iyanla brings up Kai, and then Lisa Ray got an attitude, and then Lisa Ray isn't present and she checks out, and Lisa Ray is just one of those people who talks but doesn't really say anything, and that annoys me. Okay, and so she was explaining why she wasn't present in the moment, but her explanation didn't mean anything. Like sometimes she just be saying stuff to be saying stuff. That's a lot of the time what I gather. Okay, so Lisa Ray had some homework, and they come back the next day, and she finally acknowledges that she's the common denominator, that she is the problem, and that's why she's having so many issues with the women in her life. So she says that, and Iyanla says, like, you need to be out here and you need to represent for these other, Black women who are out here, and putting some responsibility on her to take accountability for herself and her actions. So she said that she learned about devalue from her mother. There's not a really good way to say that. Devalue is a verb. So it feels weird to say it that way. I think that she was struggling to find the right word for it, but we get the gist. Okay, so she calls herself a people pleaser. She said she learned how to devalue herself from her mother. She seems to have a better attitude today. And the thing that Iyanla said that really stuck with me was saying, you need to do you in a way that's helpful and that shows healing, in a way that is allows you to climb these steps to get to your throne. But you also need to don't attach your experience to how people respond. And I thought that was so helpful, because I feel like personally that things have gone awry in certain relationships or certain situations for me, because I am so concerned with how people are going to respond, or how people do respond, that I really derail things in my life. So for me, if I'm doing something, it needs to really be for me and for who I am and for what I'm doing. And the way people choose to react is the way they choose to react. But it has no bearing on what I'm doing in my life. And for Lisa Ray, it's like Lisa Ray's out here supporting her mother and her daughter, and their reactions to that is to be mean and nasty to her and ungrateful. And Lisa Ray is allowing her relationships with them to be based on that reaction, or allowing her experience of them to be based on their reactions. I hope I'm making sense. I feel like that last piece didn't kind of make sense. But the point is that Iyanla is saying to Lisa Ray, and I think this is going to tie it all together, is that her behavior is the reason why she has a negative experience with those women in her life. So Iyanla brings up some never before seen footage, and there's a point where she is talking to Lisa Ray about wanting her house back, but she has resistance about the terms. And it's like, do you want your daughter out of the house, or do you want your daughter to wash the dishes? And Iyanla was saying, maybe you have to put up with her not washing dishes in order to get her out of your house. Since that's your ultimate goal, you need to do things that align with that. So yeah, it's about being clear and being willing to not resist certain smaller details so that you can reach the bigger goal. So I thought that was a good lesson. Next, she talks about needing to let her daughter fall and stand on her own, and taking responsibility for not raising her daughter up to be a more independent individual. There's also a point where Lisa Ray says, I love you. And she recognizes that that's different from saying, I love you. So, and then Lisa Ray, there was a point where Lisa Ray was supposed to give Kai a clear move out date. And Lisa Ray deflected and did not accept responsibility for choosing a date, because Iyanla and her had just talked about a December 15th move out date. And then when it was time for Lisa Ray to tell Kai about the move out date, she looks to Iyanla and says to Iyanla, well, I think we agreed on a year. No, it was like less than 3 months. It was like September to December 15th. So Lisa Ray, I think she kind of did it out of guilt. I think that she knows she didn't prepare her daughter to be an independent person. I think that she knows and feels guilty about sending her away to that disciplinary school in Iowa. And I think that she has a problem with being firm with her daughter as a result of that. And it was like a cop out to look to Iyanla to say, oh, well, this is what me and Iyanla agreed on. Iyanla don't pay bills at Lisa Ray's house. So Iyanla can't make an agreement with anything. And she just wasn't able to be firm with her daughter. So, the gist of that message for me was making your behavior align with what you want. Like, don't get mad that you're not getting what you want when your behavior is sending another message. So, lastly, Iyanla says it's your duty to crown yourself when you think you're ready. The throne is your heart. And Iyanla says, I'm not able to crown you, but when you walk down the road, every burden heavy load, I will rise and I will walk with you. I'll walk with you till the sun don't even shine. Walk with you every time I tell you I'll walk with you. Walk with you. Believe me, I'll walk with you. That was Iyanla's response. I can't crown you, but I'll walk with you. So that's what she did. I'm sorry. When she said that, I was like, come on, touched by an angel. That's great. Okay, so moving on. Iyanla takes Lisa Ray up to a throne room. Basically says the choice is yours if you're ready to sit on the throne. Now, we know that from yesterday when she was rating herself that she has self-perception issues and she has denial issues, okay? And I didn't think she was ready, personally. But that's the thing about sitting on the throne. The only person who knows if you're ready is you. So in that moment, after she had done like 24 hours of the emotional work, she felt like she was already ready. So she sits on the throne. She's swinging her feet on the throne. And then she starts talking. And I was like, you know what? Something does feel different about her, okay? She starts talking about her feelings. She starts doing it in a way that feels authentic and less like she's thinking before she's feeling. So maybe she was ready. Again, only Lisa Ray knows if she's ready. So Iyanla said, if I see you acting up again on social media, I'm going to call you out. Ask Evelyn Lozada. Evelyn Lozada was seasons ago on this show. So Iyanla must have Google alerts on all her guests or her celebrity guests at least. So anyways, hopefully that will help to keep Lisa Ray in check. So Iyanla says that there's value in the valley, and we all have valleys in our lives. And Lisa Ray realized, and she said this, that she cannot avoid or go around these valleys. So I think that was a good lesson for her to learn. And so after the show goes off, they do like the credit updates or the pre-credit, post-credit updates or whatever, and saying, of course, when Lisa Ray got home, she crowned herself. Again, she has self-perception issues, so who knows if she was actually ready, or when she got, maybe as soon as she walked through her door, she went in her bag and picked up that crown and put the crown on and started walking around her house, talking to her mom and daughter. Who knows? But anyways, she said the credits said that she is praying with her mama. So I hope her relationship with her mom is going well. And then it says that she's discussing a move out day with her daughter. I still think that there's a lot of work they need to do there. But they're taking steps, so that's great. And apparently she hasn't been called out by Iyanla yet. So we'll see how long that lasts. But no, truthfully and honestly, I do think Lisa Ray has had some growth There were some moments of resistance, but it makes me think about what we expect from these TV shows, right? Like, if every guest that came on Iyanla Fix My Life was 100% willing to heal and to do the activities and to be positive throughout the process, we probably would not watch the show, right? Like, the people who are in resistance to the process make the show entertaining. So on one hand, it's like, I would love to see people get their healing. I love to learn new things from Iyanla and new ways to look at stuff. So that's one element that I really enjoy about the show. But I mean, it's entertaining to see people resist the process, but I want all these people to get their healing. So I think that Lisa Ray did get some healing. And the question is if she'll still be able to take all these lessons she learned to expand on her knowledge and continue to learn and to apply them when the going gets tough, right? I mean, being in a house with Iyanla talking about your emotions is different than being in a house with your mama and your daughter that you've been beefing with for 30 years. And they in your house eating your food, not washing your dishes, you know. So hopefully she takes everything and applies it to her life. And I took a few gems myself. So thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Check out some of my other videos. Now that I'm about to graduate, I plan on being more active on YouTube. So again, thanks so much for watching. Peace out, home slices.